Yo, what's going on? I appreciate y'all for tuning in with me this Saturday. Uh Friday, I just didn't have the bandwidth to do a live stream, so I wanted to come on and jump on and give y'all something. Now, we had to take a pivot from what I wanted to talk about Friday because we just had to push that till Monday because that's a much longer topic that's probably going to take an hour and some change, maybe an hour 45 to get through. So instead of going through the big U indictment, we're going to push that to Monday because that indictment or that criminal complaint is over 100 pages. So I actually got to go through it and narrow it down to something so the video don't got to be 5 hours long. So we'll figure that out. But in the meantime, I thought that this was an interesting topic. We're going to talk a little bit about the law in Tennessee. In particular, we're going to look at voluntary manslaughter, self-defense, when and how self-defense applies. And more importantly, we're going to take a look to see if it applies with regard to this pastor who got deleted. So if you're interested, stay tuned as we dive in. And you might hear something you like that would entice you to hit the like, share, subscribe, comment button, because all of that stuff is free and is a great help to the channel. I know it's repetitive, but I have to say it before I can get through it. Now, I don't know if you all are familiar with this story. So first, I want to pull up the article so we can read a little bit about the story. Then we are going to pivot and talk about the video footage that was released and what both sides are saying. We're going to take a look at the defense's argument. We're going to take a look at the prosecution's argument. And then I'm going to give my opinion on how I think it's going to play out. I just like this gavel. It's kind of cool. I just want to hit it. I just want to hit it. So I thought it was cool. Hey, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Bernie, what's going on, Bernie? I appreciate you tuning in, sis. I hope everything is going well with you. And Maddie, hey, I appreciate you tuning in as well. Thank you for everybody in the comments, the folks who are chiming in. And I always want to give a round of applause, as you know, to the person who drops the first comment of the day. So round of applause to you, Bernie. I appreciate you for dropping that first comment of the day. Now let's go ahead and pull up the article first. We're going to read about what's going on, the details. Then we're going to watch a longer news video. It's probably about 4 minutes and some change. Just remember, when we go through the videos, I have to stop it periodically because YouTube is funky. They don't like when you just play it too long. So we're going to pause it intermittently, talk about it. And if you think I'm talking too much, go watch the video somewhere else. That's just what it is. All right, let's go ahead and dive into this article. Y'all can clearly see what I was looking for. I was clearly shopping for a stretch dress shirt to enhance my physique from working out because it's all in my algorithm. And now y'all know that I was looking for stretch dress shirts. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look into this article. This is out of Memphis, Tennessee. If you are from the Tennessee area, Memphis, drop a comment or a thumbs up in the actual chat below. All right. Memphis Pastor Ricky Floyd. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I could. Let's make that a little bit bigger. So, because I'm blind and I want y'all to see, more importantly. All right. So let's go ahead and jump into it. From Memphis, Tennessee, Memphis pastor Ricky Floyd died after being shot outside of a South Memphis restaurant and bar Wednesday morning, according to Memphis police report. Fox 13 first reported Floyd's death around 9:30 a.m. after multiple sources confirmed his identity to us. MPD later confirmed Floyd's identity in a social media update an hour later. The shooting happened in front of Mama's Bar and Grill at the corner of Crump and Kentucky Street just after 1 a.m. According to the Memphis Police Department, MPD said that 42-year-old Samantha Marion was arrested and charged with voluntary manslaughter in connection to Floyd's death. According to records obtained by Fox 13, Memphis police said that Floyd and Marion had an argument inside of the establishment. Now, interestingly enough, it's being reported that the argument was over something related to the Bible. That's wild. But yeah, they had an argument inside of the establishment. Witness told police that the argument continued outside where Floyd became irate and aggressive. Video surveillance captured that part of the argument. According to police, MPD said that footage showed Floyd throwing Marion's phone and a beer can before getting into his vehicle and driving away. So that's the first vehicle. Grab her phone, beer can, toss it, gets in his vehicle and drives away. All right. MPD said that Marion then walked into the roadway and appeared to be recording Floyd's vehicle with her phone. So he snatched her phone up. He throw all of this stuff, the beer can. He goes and gets in the car, and he's driving off. Defendant, we'll call a defendant in this case, even though these are just allegations. Defendant says, sorry. Sorry, my glasses were talking to me. All right. So now I turned on some music by accident. This is ridiculous. All right. MPD said that Marion then walked into the roadway and appeared to be recording Floyd's vehicle with her phone from this is driving me crazy. All right, I just got to cut it off. All right. MPD said that Marion then walked into the roadway and appeared to be recording Floyd's vehicle with her phone. Floyd got out of his car, according to police, and again confronted Marion. After a witness broke the two apart, police said Marion began walking towards Floyd. Why is she walking towards him? Sometimes you got to let shit go out there, people. The pastor backed up away from her. Police said, and then can be seen falling to the ground. He did not get back up. Police said Floyd died at the scene of the shooting and that a single cartridge casing was recovered at the scene. According to MPD, Marion called the police and told officers that she had shot Floyd in the roadway. I would be interested to see if we can get that 911 call. If you have to use your firearm, don't call and say you shot somebody. You call and say, hey, I was scared for my life and I defended myself. That's what I would say. All right. Moments after MPD confirmed Floyd's death, another reverend spoke about Floyd's death leaves a vacancy in the Memphis faith community. Those of us who knew the pastor, he was very eclectic, kind with faith leaders, someone who was willing to do unconventional methods, blah, blah, blah. Pursuit of God Church. Memphis City Council said Floyd's death is a tragic loss. Okay, so that's the meat and potatoes of what happened. They're at a bar and restaurant, and you see what pastor gets that upset about the word of God. It has to be more to this story. I agree. That's just kind of weird. Like, I mean, I know that God wants us to, bring in flock, bring in people to His flock. But I mean, to what ends? Good grief. I agree with you, Bernie. I think that's a fair comment. So, pastors at a restaurant and bar, there's a difference. So I'm assuming this is an Applebee's type of thing, equivalent. At a restaurant and a bar, he meets a young lady. They get into some discussion and a disagreement over something. The reports are saying it's related to the good book, which is wild. Okay, at some point they go outside. Pastor gets upset. He's clearly agitated. Other people sees it. He's agitated. He throws her phone. He throws a beer can. All of this stuff goes on. And it says that he gets in his vehicle. After he gets in his vehicle, the young lady, the defendant who we're referring to in this case, gets out, goes into the street, starts recording. After she's recording, pastor's like, yo, why you recording me? He gets out of his vehicle. More confrontation ensues. Now, there is some discrepancy here. We're going to take a look at this video because the defense is asserting one thing. The prosecution is clearly asserting another. And we're going to see where this kind of plays out. Clappage. Yeah, you get that upset. Like, I don't know. They might have been arguing over thou shalt not fornicate. anymore. Hey, that's actually a fair point. Hey, shout out to you for. I think that's a good point. Uh, I don't know. It might have been some clappers going on. To just get that wild and crazy over the 23rd or 91st Psalm is kind of crazy work. Yeah. Oh, they was at a hole in the wall spot. Okay, okay. All right, hey, hole in the wall spots. That's where it go down too. So now let's take a look at the video. We're gonna watch a longer news story. It's about 4 minutes. I'm gonna pause it intermittently to explain some things, and because YouTube is making me. But I want you all to pay attention to the video. We're gonna watch this video in conjunction with what the prosecution is saying, and I want y'all opinion. Is it self-defense? Is it not self-defense? We're going to talk a little bit about the statutes and when it applies. I got some notes on that, and I'm going to tell you how I think this would play out. Let's go ahead. Let me cue this up real quick, and then we're going to dive into it.
First at 5 on your news leader, the shooting death of a beloved pastor and prominent leader in Memphis left plenty of people stunned, many asking, why would anyone kill?
All right, pause that right there. Now, they're going to show this video. I'm going to tell you this is a universal fact, not because I'm saying it and I'm a black guy. This is a universal fact. If you study anything about self-defense, self-protection, and you're in the concealed carry community, a universal sign for an assault that's about to occur is someone pulling up their pants. I'm not saying that because it's a well-known fact. You could have experts in the self-defense community come to testify to that. I've seen it 1,000 times. I've probably done it a few times. But anytime you see somebody get out of their vehicle or they walk up towards you and they pull their pants up, that's actually regarded in the self-defense community as a universal sign that an assault is about to happen, some type of attack is about to occur. So I want to just lay that so y'all know it's not coming from me. This is actually well-founded within the self-defense community.
Left plenty of people stunned, many asking, why would anyone kill Pastor Ricky Floyd? Well, tonight, only on News Channel 3, video showing a portion of what happened the night Pastor Floyd was shot to death. Good evening.
Real quick,
what happened?
That scowl on his face too is this is just me. I'm just pausing the video, calling what I see. I know from someone who studies self-defense from a concealed carrier standpoint, from a martial arts standpoint, someone approaching you pulling up their pants is a universal sign that an assault is highly likely to occur. That look on his face isn't a facial look of someone who's coming over to converse with you about the good book, and the fact that you were in your vehicle could actually leave, but you elected to stop it to get back out and approach this person. All signs that I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna be on guard. That's just how I would pursue it. But this is just what I'm seeing from watching this video.
News Channel 3, video showing a portion of what happened the night Pastor Floyd was shot to death. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Greg Hurst.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Skurlock. WREG has viewed the video provided to us by the attorneys of the woman charged with shooting Floyd. We have carefully considered the weight of what's shown and the sensitivity to all involved in this tragedy. But we also believe it's an important part of the story.
And they aren't going to show the actual firing of the shot.
And one you deserve to see. Here's WREG investigator April Thompson.
Plenty of speculation surrounding the shooting of Pastor Ricky Floyd outside Mama's Bar and Kitchen March 12th. Phone video captured what appears to be some of the final moments of Pastor Floyd's life. It shows the Tahoe truck he is in putting on brakes.
He should have just left. I mean, we're going to get back to the video, but if you're in a confrontation and you have an opportunity to de-escalate the situation or just leave, you got to just leave. I mean, this is I get it. Trust me. I I I've been that irate where I'd be like, you know what, I want to go back and do something, but this was a error that proved fatal for this gentleman.
Pastor Floyd getting out, walking toward the person shooting the video as they yell to back up.
I'm backing back 3 times now. When I do that, please back the up. Back up.
Then the video drops out. WREG sat down with the attorneys for Samantha Marion, charged with shooting Pastor Floyd to death.
All right, now real quick, before we listen to what our attorneys say, we're just talking about this isolated incident of this video alone, okay? Let's talk about this isolated incident because there are going to be more facts. But just off of this video, if this were the only thing we were looking at, we're going to get a little bit more from our attorneys and the prosecution side. But just off of this video alone, if this was the only evidence you had to go by, would you say that her shooting this individual, discharging her firearm, was fair or foul? Would you say that this is a valid self-defense claim? If we're just looking at this video as the only
on breaks, Pastor Floyd getting out, walking toward the person shooting the video as they yell to back up.
I'm backing back 3 times now. When I do that, please back the up. Back up.
Then the video drops out.
All right, solely on that, do y'all think that's actually fair or foul? What's going on, Harley, MDJ, everybody in the chat? I avoid Memphis now. Yeah, Memphis is rough. He was ready to whoop that trick. Hey, that's a good one, bro. I agree. I know exactly where Mama Bar is. It's actually south downtown near the Rain Motel. Okay. So now, I don't know. I'm going to just be honest. Based solely off that video and the context clues I got, I would probably say fair self-defense claim. Okay. This is the thing that I would look at. If I'm just looking at that video, not saying that that's what it's going to be the finding. I'm talking about just solely based off of that video. The few things I'm going to consider is this is a guy who's probably bigger, certainly stronger than the woman. He was in his vehicle and he chose to actually stop the vehicle. We don't know what went on before this. We're just talking about with that video image. Clearly has the means to inflict serious physical harm and or death because he's just probably bigger than her and stronger than her. Point number 1. 2, he actually appears in this video to introduce himself into the altercation. He was in his vehicle, had the opportunity to leave, chose not to. He got out of the vehicle. He did something that's consistent with a universal sign of an assault on the verge of commencing. Hey, she gave him a few warnings, back up. He still approached. He had a menacing look in his eye. From this video, I think the benefit of the doubt, just solely on this video, we're not talking about everything else. We're going to get us some more facts and we'll weigh those accordingly. But solely on this video, I think if this was the only thing we had, self-defense would probably be a viable defense. Yeah. Perhaps he was upset that he was caught on camera because his wife thought he was at church doing all night revival. She was protecting herself. That's a good point. That was a good point. Something weird is going on. This definitely wasn't over no scriptures. I think Royster was 100%. Hey, she was 100% right on that one. But I think just on this video alone, with nothing else, I think most people would probably say self-defense was probably warranted because he had the ability, and the words of MDJ, to whoop that trick. So I think that that's actually a fair point. Now let's tune in to see what our attorneys have to say and get a little bit more evidence about it.
WREG sat down with the attorneys for Samantha Marion, charged with shooting Pastor Floyd to death. They say the video speaks for itself.
The video does not capture the gunfire that would have taken place probably maybe 3 or 4 seconds later, but it clearly shows him approaching her aggressively after being told several times to stop and that he should not be, walking up on her like that.
Keith Perry says his client, Samantha Marion, was behind the camera shooting the video, and it came after Marion and a man she had met that night got into a heated religion discussion with Pastor Floyd inside the bar. Perry says when everyone was leaving, Pastor Floyd walked toward Marion, and the man got between them.
He stands in front of Reverend Floyd. He's knocked to the ground by Reverend Floyd, and when he does, the back of his head hits the pavement, and he becomes a little stunned or dazed. Reverend Floyd then takes the telephone of Miss Marion, and he throws it to the ground, and he hurled a couple of insults or what have you, and then starts to walk off.
That's when he says Samantha.
One, she has an amazing phone for him to throw her phone to the ground and to still be able to do this and work properly. Phones be shit these days. But now a key thing is they introduced a person who was a witness. There was a third party there, a man who apparently, from all the facts we have, according to her, it sounds like Reverend Floyd kicked his ass when he tried to intervene between the two. I'm still not believing that it was over the 23rd Psalm or the 91st Psalm, but we can agree to disagree on that. We'll figure that out. But there's a third party involved now, so that means that there's a witness.
Marion picks up her phone and starts videoing the license plate of the truck, since she had never met Floyd before.
So she never met Floyd before. This is wild if that's true, that they never met before.
That's where the video picks up.
Whatever triggered him, he was upset with Mrs. Marion. He fought through two individuals to get to her, and watching him storm from the vehicle. And
now that fact that they're given there is to bolster her argument of self-defense. If Reverend Floyd could kick one guy's ass and fight through two people to get to her, it just kind of lays that foundation that if Reverend Floyd is actually able to get to her, he has the ability to essentially lay out severe physical harm, potential death, because he's clearly whipping guys' asses according to them.
And approach her, it was clear that his intentions was definitely not to give her a hug and say, hey, let's work this out. But he had aggression in his heart and in his mind.
WREG acknowledges that this is only one piece of video from that night, and it does not include what police have described as Pastor Floyd holding his hands up.
Again, I'm gonna pause this and rewind this. Now, this is important right here. This is important because they say they have witnesses. Now, we looked at the video, and the video looks self-defense-y, okay? It looks self-defense-y, but we got to take into context what police have, and listen to this carefully because this is the game changer in these facts for me.
Night, and it does not include what police have described as Pastor Floyd holding his hands up and walking backwards away from Marion before falling to the ground. Out of respect for Pastor Floyd's family, WREG reached out to a family spokesperson and shared the video. It was their first time seeing it.
At this difficult time, we're just totally focused on prayer and maintaining our faith in the justice system. We trust that it will fulfill its purpose and provide us the answers and the accountability that is essential right now.
But Marion's attorneys believe the video shows their client was defending herself, and that should have been taken into consideration when she was in jail 7 days and given a $100,000 bond.
You're witnessing a person that.
All right, now real quick, according to police reports, now they got this information from somewhere. Let me see real quick. Give me 1 second. Let me see. I'm just want to take a look. Okay. Let's see. Investigators made contact with witness Keisha Smith and Steve Newsom, who stated that they had been inside of the business with Marion when they became involved in an argument with Floyd. They advised that Floyd left the business. They proceeded outside. While talking outside, they advised that Floyd returned and became irate and aggressive. This portion of the incident was captured on video surveillance of good quality. In the video, Floyd is seen throwing Marion's phone to the ground, throwing a beer can. He then gets out of his vehicle and begins to drive away. Marion walks out into the road and appears to be recording his vehicle with her cell phone. Floyd steps out of his vehicle, exits, and walks towards Marion. Smith is seen getting in between them, creating some distance between Marion and Floyd. Video that shows Marion walk towards Floyd, who begins walking backwards away from her. As he backs away, he is seen falling to the ground and does not get back up after that. Smith advised that Marion shot Floyd in the roadway. Investigators observed one cartridge on the scene that appeared to be a gunshot wound, blah, 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 blah. So now that is a very, 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 very important fact. They purportedly have video footage, and if there were other persons on the scene, which they were, who can corroborate that the victim in this case had his hands up and was proceeding backward away, from the defendant. Now, if we have those facts, everything we just have in front of us right now, we have that video. I think everything up until that point is uncontroverted. Even the witnesses said they got into an argument over whatever, cheek clappage, the scripture, the good book, Ezekiel, we don't know. But they got into some argument. It leads outside. There's a phone call. Everybody agrees with all of that. The only thing that is a point of contention is the video footage enough to overcome what they have in this statement? And this statement says that they were able to capture it, that the video shows Marion walk towards Floyd. Floyd begins walking backwards away from her. As he backs away, he is seen falling to the ground. Now, I don't know the context with which everything occurred, but just how I'm absorbing these facts as I get it, I think let's pick up to right where the video was. I think in that video that we had, he stops his car. He foolishly gets out to approach her. He approaches her. At some point, they say the camera falls. It's a tussle. You can't really see what's going on. So you can't see what's going on. He gets out the vehicle. He approaches her. There's a tussle over the phone. It falls on the ground. Then we can't see what's going on. Her attorney says 3 to 4 seconds later is where the shot occurred. Now, 3 to 4 seconds is actually a very, very long time. It seems like a short time, but it's actually a very long time frame. Now, the other thing that I think is important, she proceeds to tell him in that video we saw, you should back up. I told you 3 times to back up. When I tell you to back up, to me, that's indicative of speech to someone who probably got that goddamn it in their purse or on their hip. So just how I piece together these facts and you tell me how you piece them together, I think what happened is what we saw in the video, the camera falls. At some point, she pulls out a firearm. Now, she either pulls out her firearm and discharges the firearm, or in the alternative, she pulls out her firearm. He sees the firearm. He does this is the universal sign for I don't want no smoke, putting your hands up like that. So he puts his hands up and starts to proceed backwards. According to that police report, the gunshot occurs. Then she subsequently is arrested, charged with voluntary manslaughter. Just with the information we have, I think that scenario with him putting his hands up in that 3 to 4 second gap is completely plausible. If we look at this police report, it leads to believe that they have this on video. Even if they don't have it on video, there are other persons there who could potentially corroborate if, in fact, his hands were up and he started to retreat. Once he starts to retreat, if that is the factually proven, his hands is up and he starts to retreat. At that point in time, there would be no immediate threat of physical harm, no threat of death. There would be absolutely no reason to use any deadly use of force. So I think that's kind of how it is. Let's see. Let me hold on. Let me see. Yeah, she is out on bail now. She was able to make bail. Swinging, swinging gone wrong. Yeah, that's wild. Self defense. It. We'll talk about it. I want to know if the gunshot was to his back. It's possible eyewitness recollection isn't accurate, and I agree. When the shot go off in a situation like that, people have no clue what they actually saw. He backed away too late, and that is an actual fair argument. Generally, though, I'm just gonna say for me, generally, as an attorney, as someone who I practice use of force situations from a concealed carrier standpoint, probably way more than the average person. Yeah. I agree, but remember there was a 3 to 4 seconds lapse in time. So I mean, I'm just saying 3 to 4 seconds is, let's see. All right, that was 4 seconds right there. 3 to 4 seconds isn't a lot of time, but it could be a world of time. Because from a concealed carrier standpoint, if I have my firearm drawn, which I got on my hip right now, but if I draw my firearm and I can see both of your hands this way, there's no, to me, there's nothing you can say if I can see your hands this way, because this is the same way. Hey, now the facts would be different. After he got out of the vehicle and he approached her, and she'd have pulled it out then and went to work, I think it changes everything completely. I think it's completely no issue. But having that in the police report that either a video or someone is essentially outlining that this gentleman had his hands up and he was walking back. If they can find evidence to corroborate that, I think that it's going to be a disaster for her. Now, real quick, I mean, I saw the look in his eyes, but is the key is going to turn on the immediacy of it. Let me pull up my notes real quick so we can go through these, because we're going to talk about when is self-defense properly addressed in the beautiful state of Tennessee. So let's go ahead and pull it up. So we got everything. Voluntary manslaughter in Tennessee is defined as intentional or knowing killing of another in a state of passion produced by adequate provocation, sufficient to lead a reasonable person to act in an irrational manner. Then they have examples of adequate provocation include infidelity or self-defense. Voluntary manslaughter is a Class C felony, sentencing range of 3 to 15 years. What is self-defense? In Tennessee, self-defense is defined as the right of an individual to use reasonable force when threatened with physical harm or death from another person. According to Tennessee law, individuals can use deadly force if they reasonably believe it is necessary to avoid death or serious bodily injuries at the hands of another person. However, if an individual uses deadly force against another person unlawfully, they can face criminal charges and penalties, including jail time. When can it be used as a legal defense? In the state of Tennessee, self-defense is a legal defense available for individuals charged with a crime. Let's break down the criteria that must be met for self-defense to be valid. Imminent danger requirement. This is what's going to tip this whole thing for me. Imminent dangerment requirement. An imminent danger requirement. In Tennessee, self-defense can only be used if the defendant is in imminent danger of being killed or seriously injured, and there is no reasonable alternative to using force. This means that the defendant must have reasonably believed that they were in immediate danger and had no other way out other than using force. If we go back to the video that was shown, had she put in work on that actual video, the video that we saw, if you'd have heard a pow, I think she walks away completely scot-free, no issue. I would agree that if we're looking solely at that video and the shot occurred on that video, that's 100% self-defense. I think it's easy. But the police report says that he had his hands up and he was backing away. So now it's going to come down to, for me, they're going to look at the imminent danger requirement. Was it imminent? Was it not? What evidence do we have to prove that his hands were up? If his hands were up and he took a step back, if I could see your hands, I know as a self-defender, there's someone who always got that thing on them. If it's just training. If I can see your hands, there's no immediacy. So if there's testimony from a third-party witness, if there's video footage, to me, if I were on a jury with his hands up and Lord forbid he take a step back, hands up and a step back as is alleged in that police report, I think that it's not going to be that immediacy, and I think that she's going to be on the hook looking at 3 to 15. All right, the reasonable belief requirement. The defendant must also have a reasonable belief that using force was necessary to prevent imminent injury or death. The court will consider certain factors such as whether or not there was immediate threat, any prior contact between the parties involved, or any prior indications of violence between them. Now, this would be interesting if it is found out later. Let's just say hypothetically, it's found out later that this wasn't their first interaction. They actually knew each other. That could be something that weighs on it. But did she have a reasonable belief? I think if that shot would have went off in that video, yes, I think she had a reasonable belief that severe bodily harm was imminent. If, as that police report said, they can find any facts, be it video or a third-party witness, to corroborate that his hands were up and he took a step back, I think the reasonable belief requirement and the immediacy requirement are thin at best. Reasonable belief, maybe. Immediacy, absolutely not if his hands is up and he took a step back. For me, the necessary force requirement. When using self-defense as a legal defense in Tennessee, the amount of force used must have been necessary and proportionate to the threat posed by the attacker. This means that if a person claims self-defense, they cannot use more force than what was needed to defend themselves from harm. Otherwise, it would constitute excessive force and could result in criminal liability for their action. I think that part is a non-issue just because there's an imbalance of power. He's a guy, she's a woman. According to the reports, or according to her attorneys, he will whipping people's ass before all of this occurred. So I don't think that'll be an issue. And this doesn't apply, but I will read it. Initial aggressor exception. In general, an individual who initiates an attack cannot claim self-defense as a legal defense. However, there are exceptions when even the initial aggressor may still successfully claim self-defense, depending on the circumstances of each case. For example, if someone initially started an altercation, but then withdrew from it and attempted to de-escalate the situation before being attacked by their opponent, they may successfully argue self-defense as long as they met all of the other requirements discussed above: imminent danger, reasonable belief, and reasonable force. Now, let's flip the script on this, okay? Real quick. This is an interesting example. So let's say we're looking at this video. This is just a hypothetical. The pastor get out of the car. I think just from that video, if we only had that video, this is a hypothetical. If we only had that video, I think everybody would say the pastor was the initial aggressor, according to that video, just the video. He gets out of the car, he approaches her, he grabs the phone, he throws it down. Okay, so if someone initially started the altercation, i.e. the pastor in the video, but then withdrew from it and attempted to de-escalate the situation, i.e. lifting your hands up and backing up. Before being attacked again by their opponent, they may successfully argue self-defense. So I think that's an interesting example because I think that example actually kind of plays out a little bit to the facts where, yeah, the pastor appeared to be the aggressor, but there was a 3 to 4 second lapse in time between when that video ended and when the shots were fired. And according to the police report, either a video or a person said that they saw the pastor with his hands up, taking steps to back up, to retreat, to de-escalate the situation. So I don't know. It's interesting. All right. Duty to retreat in Tennessee. Under Tennessee law, an individual has no duty to retreat before using force in self-defense. This means that an individual can use deadly force in self-defense without first trying to escape or retreat from the threat. However, this only applies if the individual has a reasonable belief that they are facing imminent threat of serious bodily injury or death. Individuals must also prove that they were not engaged in any illegal activity at the time of the incident. It did not provoke or initiate the confrontation. Then they talk a little bit about the stand your ground law. The stand your ground law applies when a person is attacked while they are outside of their home. People who are attacked outside of their home can stand their ground and defend themselves with whatever force they deem necessary. So I'm assuming her attorney is going to bring up a lot of stand your ground. Her attorney are going to say that the 3 to 4 seconds that lapsed between the end of the video and the shots were still in the realm of immediacy. The prosecution is going to argue that that 3 to 4 seconds was enough time for the pastor to initiate de-escalation attempts by showing her his hands and taking steps backwards to retreat. The castle doctrine is a doctrine that states that individuals have no duty to retreat when defending their homes from intruders or attackers. The castle doctrine definitely should be law across the land, in my personal opinion. I don't need to save that. I don't know. Y'all say, some people say self-defense. I don't know. He backed away too late. I could see your hands. If I could see your hands, I don't know. It's going to be a factual case. It's going to be a factual case. I saw the look on his eye. It was some ill intent there. Let's see. Does this spot have any meeting rooms? I'm trying to figure out why he was at the bar so late at night. Hey, he was doing the Lord's work. Jesus turned water into wine. he was doing the Lord's work. With his hands up, she did a bit on purpose. This is going to be interesting. Yeah, no duty to retreat. No duty to retreat. Most southern states don't have the duty to retreat, and they do have the stand your ground. Self-defense. Replace this woman with a cop, and the lady isn't even being arrested. Yeah, and this lady is. Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with. I'm not going to disagree with you there, but it's the justice system isn't the same for everybody in every situation. Unfortunately, it is what it is. How, again, it's all going to boil down to the immediate. Was she in immediate fear of physical harm or death? That 3 to 4 second gap is going to be vital to the jury and how they prove his hands were up. If they have a video, she's screwed. Because if they have a video, when you're watching the video, 3 to 4 seconds is a long ass time on video to see someone like this with their hands up. Because you can perceive hands up immediately at the drop of a dime. If they have a video, she's going to be screwed. If they have video of him with his hands up, taking a step back, hey, she might as well get her toothbrush ready. It's not going to end well. If there's no video, but there's witness testimony, that is a little bit probably more favorable to her, because a big factor if there's no video is, well, if there's no video, we don't know if the shot occurred 1, 2, 3 seconds after. we only have the testimony of persons who were there. All I need to do is have someone on the stand and cross-examine them that they weren't sure how much time lapsed because they were in a stressful situation. I mean, what is one of the guys who got his ass kicked and got knocked on the ground and hit his head on the back of the ground? You got your ass whipped and your back of your head hit the ground. How do you know how much time lapsed? You probably suffered from a concussion. You just got your ass whipped. So I think if there's a video, she's probably going to be screwed and it's going to not go in her favor. If the only evidence of him putting his hands up and retreating is from testimony of a third party, it'll probably land in more her favor. I don't think it would be enough to get not guilty, but I think if it's testimony in that video, it'll probably be enough to get a hung jury. I think any attorney should be able to cross-examine the witnesses there to show that the amount of time that lapsed 3, 4 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second, nobody can verify, confirm how fast it occurred. If it's within a 1 or 2 second window, because it generally takes you 2 seconds to perceive an event. Again, that's why it's a big difference. 3 to 4 seconds, you perceive shit. I say this all the time, but when you train as a concealed carrier or any type of law enforcement, you have to know how fast your draw is. If I have a 1 second draw, if you know you have a 1 second draw, I can have a firearm pointed at you and I can literally look away like that. If you got a 1 second draw, you can actually hit me before I get my eyes back on you and my brain is able to actually pull the trigger. If I turn my head and you can see my ear, you need a 1.5 second draw. If you can draw in 1.5 seconds, you can hit my ear. You can hit me before I can turn around and perceive it. If I turn around and you see the back of my head, you need a 2 second draw. A 2 second draw, if you can see the back of my head, will allow you to hit me before I can even perceive it. That's why 3 to 4 seconds is a big difference between 1 and 2 seconds. If it's 3 to 4 seconds, she actually has substantial time to perceive the hands up and the step back. If it's 1 to 2 seconds, that perception isn't there. It's more immediate. It's probably more in lines of self-defense. If there's no video to show what was the time lapse between her phone and that gunshot, if it's only testimony, I think the attorney should be able to do a good enough job of cross-examining to be able to cause some confusion as to how long it was between the time her video ended and the actual shots fired. That's kind of my thought. I mean, I don't know. Self-defense, we'll see how it goes. If I had to guess, because I don't know what that evidence is, because the police report wasn't clear. I guess I'm going to split the baby. I'm going to split the baby on this one. If they have video evidence of his retreat and it's greater than 2 seconds, she's probably going to be screwed. If there's no video evidence, she's probably going to walk away with a hung jury. That's the best I could do. I know that's not a verdict, but all right, there you go. We back. But you all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Self-defense or no? Like I said, it kind of depends. Video, she's screwed. No video, probably gonna walk away with a hung jury. If I were her, would I take a plea on this case? If they didn't have video footage of the gunfire or him putting his hands up, possibly. I think without video footage of him having his hands up, I think it's a much, much stronger case for her. But I don't know. A guaranteed 3 when you could be looking at 15. Some people not gonna want to risk it. I don't know. That's the best I could do for y'all in light of the facts that we had before you. Nah, that was on me. I think I got it back. Can you hear it now? I think I got it back. It went out briefly. I got a little too overzealous with the gavel and I knocked the damn cord out of the microphone. But yo, that's it for this video. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Monday, we're going to go through the indictment of the civil rights activist, Rolling 60s Crip OG, Big U. And I will tell you, gang intervention programs are bullshit. Trayon White, DC government accepted bribes related to gang intervention programs. The gentleman we did from Charleston, South Carolina, finessed money from gang intervention programs. Big U allegedly finessed money from gang intervention programs. If I'm not going to be shocked if the federal government takes a big pivot away from throwing dollars to nonprofits for gang intervention programs, because the past 3 cases we're going to cover on this show were all people who had some finesse surrounding gang intervention programs in the hood. It's terrible. It's disgusting. We're going to talk about that indictment on Monday. It's 100 and something pages. So we're just going to highlight the interesting stuff. And of course, we're going to talk about the deletion where the body was thrown in the desert. That was wild. Hey, as always, you all have a good, safe, blessed weekend. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Y'all be safe. Peace.